Greetings and salutations, this is Rick. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be talking about making the transition from a regular diet to the ketogenic lifestyle. Now, you may or may not know that in 2017, in January, I made the switch to the ketogenic lifestyle and I kept it up for almost a year. And during that time, a lot of my health issues went away. It was a really, really good move for me. And I was a lot happier, I was a lot lighter, I lost a lot of weight. And generally, it worked out that the ketogenic lifestyle was absolutely right for me. Now, that's not to say it's going to be right for you. One thing I have found in life about trying out various lifestyles and diets and ways of eating and ways of doing things is that there is no one size fits all. Everybody is an individual, everybody is different, and different things work for different people. For me, the ketogenic lifestyle is absolutely the way forward. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to basically go through the supermarket list of ingredients that I've just bought in order to start back on the keto, which is going to happen over the next couple of days. Now, I should say, when you make the transition between the regular, normal, everyday foods over to the ketogenic diet, there is a period of time. It's different for everybody. For me, it takes about 2 weeks where you become what's called keto adapted. And that's where your body is adapted sufficiently to start getting its energy from fats and not from the sugars, which it's currently doing at the moment. And I believe there's a bit of a change up in all the enzymes and everything in your digestive system. I'm not entirely sure how the absolute science of it works, but there's lots of interesting reading and videos and stuff out there if it's something that you're interested in and want to find out. But also there is something called the keto flu, which I'm anticipating getting a little bit of. That's completely normal, and that's basically your body putting up a bit of a struggle as it's making the change over to the ketogenic lifestyle. And I understand that one of the ways of beating the keto flu is actually just using salt water, actually having a little drink of salt water. Now, that's going to be alarm bells for some people. It's like, you know, there's far too much salt in our diets as it is. Yes, that's true if you're on a regular normal everyday foods, but on the ketogenic side of things, you actually need to up your intake of salt. And one of the things I found last time I had the ketogenic flu was literally if I just put half a teaspoon of salt in some water and down it, within probably, 30 minutes, all of the symptoms went away of the keto flu and I felt absolutely fine. In fact, I felt a little bit energized. So for me personally, I know that works. Whether that works for you or not, I don't know. It's something you're going to have to experiment with if this is something you're going to be doing. So I'm going to not natter on anymore. I'm going to log into my account and pull up my shopping basket. And I'm going to basically just go through the foods that I've ordered, and hopefully it's going to be helpful or useful to someone if they're going to be making this transition as well. Okay, so here we have our trolley summary, and I'm just going to go through every ingredient, maybe make a few comments as I go. So right at the top of this we have barbecue classic sauce. Now, you really shouldn't be getting involved with things like ketchup and sauces on the ketogenic lifestyle. I do because I like the taste of them, but I'm very, very careful, and I'll literally only have half a teaspoon at a time because they contain loads and loads of sugar. So you've got to be really careful. But if you're just doing it in little tiny amounts, it's okay. But you do have to account for them on your, because don't forget you've only got 20 grams of carbohydrates that you're allowed each day. And if you start slapping sauce on, it's going to eat that carb allowance up like in no time at all. So as long as you're really careful and you just have a tiny little flavour of it, you're okay, but you've got to be really careful with the sauces. Cos lettuce, mini ×2. Lettuce, absolutely fine. Any kind of green leafy salads, you can pretty much eat as much of that stuff as you want. Obviously you have to be a bit careful about slapping all the sauces on it and all the other stuff, but the actual leafy veg and salad, absolutely fine. You can have as much as you want. So I've got a bag of superfood floret leaves. I've got spinach, rocket and watercress as well. All of those absolutely fine. And I'll be using those for things like prawn cocktails. You can do a lot of seafood It's same as meats. You can pretty much have as much seafood as you want. So I like to make a nice prawn cocktail, and I'll do that. Obviously, you've got to be a little bit careful with the ketchup, but you can pretty much have quite a lot of mayonnaise because that's purely fat, or most of it. On the list here, I've got a 90% cocoa chocolate bar, and that's basically to make up a chocolate ganache. Now basically you can have, or you can make these little mug cakes, or I've discovered, and instead of using flour, you use almond flour because there's no carbohydrates in it, or extremely low carbs. And you can make these little, I make these little cakes in a ramekin bowl. I'll probably do a video on it perhaps. But what I like to do is put a chocolate ganache on the top. And in order to do that, you need little bits of chocolate. Now obviously chocolate is going to be high in sugar if you get regular chocolate. But if you get the chocolate that's got the 80 or the 90% cocoa solids, then it's really, really low on the carbs. There's not much sugar in it at all. They're obviously quite a bitter chocolate, so I have to use a sweetener. I use stevia and monk fruit, which are two natural sweeteners. And they're pretty effective, and it just makes a lovely chocolate ganache. In fact, I will make a video, a keto video on a little mug cake. I think I'll do that in the future. Okay, mushrooms, closed cup chestnut mushrooms. Mushrooms are brilliant on the keto lifestyle. You can pretty much eat as many mushrooms as you want. I think there are no carbs in them. Personally, I can't eat too many mushrooms, get a little bit gassy. It's just not particularly good, but I do have a small quantity, particularly with breakfast. They're lovely fried up with a big fry up breakfast. They really add to the flavour. So I've got some mushrooms there. Gone for sugar-free jelly. Now sugar-free jelly is a kind of dessert staple on the ketogenic lifestyle for me. Again, this is all stuff that I do. This is not necessarily stuff that everybody should be doing. This is just purely what I'm doing. But sugar-free jelly, absolutely brilliant. You can make up a jelly. I mean, you can eat a whole jelly if you want. It's got aspartame in it, which is not good. So what I tend to do is I'll make up a jelly and I'll probably have half of one a day and have some cream on it. A jelly and cream, lovely. I mean, you can eat as much as you want with the jelly and cream, but I tend to again, watch the portion sizes. I'm not a big fan of aspartame, but it's the only type of jelly that I can eat. If I try going for regular jelly, it's got sugar in it and it's no good. But jelly is pretty important on this particular lifestyle, and it really, really does fill you up as well. I find it fills me up. So if I am hungry, which you don't actually get that hungry on the ketogenic lifestyle at all, but yeah, if you fancy something a little bit sweet or whatever, then that's perfect for me. Kerrygold pure Irish butter. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's the only butter that I buy on this ketogenic lifestyle because it's grass fed. It's made from grass fed cow's milk, and I go through quite a lot of butter. Butter is really good on the ketogenic lifestyle. As I say, I think, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it's a medium chain triglyceride oil, which means that it's just good on many levels, which I'm not going to go into now because I keep reading up on it, but I don't fully understand it, so there's no point in me trying to impart that information. But do look up, if you're interested in that sort of thing, do your own research. Sausages, pork sausages. I've tried very recently. I've tried all sorts of different sausages to try to come up with one that I really like. Of late, sausages have been horrible. I just really haven't. I've gone right off sausages, and I tried some. I cooked some last night actually, and they were they were made to sound really fancy. I think they were from a posh range in Sainsbury's, and they were bloody awful. They were really horrible, and I don't know what it is, but I think it's the texture. So many of the sausages that I've tried recently have just got this really kind of almost like this lumpy texture, and they're just not very nice at all. But I discovered something called Finnebrogue Naked Cumberland pork sausages, and they are like how I remember sausages always used to be. So I actually had some this morning for breakfast, and so I only buy those now because everything else I try is just not very nice at all. But yeah, so I'm going to go for these naked Cumberland pork sausages, and they're brilliant in breakfasts, or they're a good general meat staple. As far as I'm aware, I think they're organic as well. I might be wrong on that. I can't see flavouring sausages. Mine actually probably not organic, thinking about it, because their organic meat is really expensive, and these are quite affordable. I think these are like £3 or £3 UK pounds for 400 grams, which is, you're not going to get organic meat for that price. So no, these won't be organic, but they are nice, and these are the only sausages I go for now. Roast chicken drumsticks. I actually buy chicken drumsticks that are pre-cooked and in these packets, and it's not necessarily an efficient or an economical way of buying drumsticks, but they're so convenient. And if I'm just like can't really be bothered to cook, and because sometimes you need to cook meals and stuff, and if you get to the end of the day and you think, I don't want to cook, these are kind of like, for me, these are like a fast food because you can actually eat them cold. So I'll have them with a salad, and they're really nice. But yeah, chicken drumsticks, streaky bacon or regular bacon. Basically, have it for breakfast in the mornings. If you can have a nice big fry up in the mornings, it's sausage, bacon, eggs, mushrooms, a little bit of mayonnaise on the side if you want. You can even throw in a few greens as well, a bit of salad or whatever. And salad is not necessarily the most appetizing thing for breakfast. But what happens is, if you have that meal in the morning, there's virtually no carbs on it. It's mostly sort of meats and fats, and protein as well. You have to be a little bit careful about how many meats you have, because if you have too much protein, your body actually turns it into sugars. So you've got to be a little bit careful on the protein. But for me, what I do is, if I have a full fry up in the mornings, like I say, bacon, eggs, sausages, mushrooms, I don't want to eat for the rest of the day. Right through till sort of late in the evening. It just keeps me going right through the day. So there's an advantage there straight away. And then in the evening, I'll if I have maybe some chicken drumsticks with some salad, then that's more than enough. Or if I'm feeling particularly hungry, I'll throw in a prawn cocktail as well. And but that's fine. Sainsbury's soft white cheese. Now this is along with mozzarella cheese. This is an essential ingredient in the fathead dough ingredients list. Now fathead dough is probably one of the best inventions ever for keto. It essentially means you can have pizzas, you can have bread, sort of. Basically, you can make bread from what's called this fathead dough, and the fathead dough consists mostly of mozzarella cheese and a bit of cream cheese, a few other spices and things, but it's made in such a way that you can make a pizza base with it, or you can make bread rolls with it. I presume you can make a loaf with it as well, and have slices and actually have bread in that sense. So do be sure to look that up, because I use fathead dough quite a lot. In fact, one of my favourites is wrapped sausage rolls, or fathead sausage rolls. And you make this dough up, you lay it flat, and then you roll up sausages in it and slice it, and you've got these little sausage rolls, and oh, they are so nice. I might have to do a little video on that. So what else have we got? Eggs. Obviously eggs. I've got 2 lots of 12 here, so I've got 24 eggs, and I will get through those over the course of about maybe 2 weeks. Eggs are just a main staple for the ketogenic lifestyle. Use them all the time, and they are in everything, including the fathead dough. But obviously I have them scrambled as well. Trying to think of examples, I can't think of them off the top of my head because the camera's rolling. As soon as the camera stops, I'll suddenly think of it. But I don't know if anybody else makes videos and you get that same issue where you, as soon as the camera goes on, your mind goes blank. I've always had that. I've been on YouTube like over 10 years and I still get that even now. So that's eggs. Peanuts. Some will argue that peanuts are not ideal for being on the ketogenic lifestyle. If you want nuts, there are better choices. Like almond, I think, is it macadamia nuts as well, particularly good, or is it pecans? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there are better choices in nuts. But I particularly like. This particular type of peanut is sea salt and cider vinegar peanuts, and they're just really, really yummy. So what I do of an evening, if I'm just wanting something of an evening, just feeling a little bit peckish, then what I'll do is I'll get like a little whiskey tumbler and I'll half fill it with these peanuts. So it's only a little small portion, and I'll just make those last through the night. It's just something just like a little snack for the evenings, and that serves me just fine. And in those small quantities, it's not really a problem. But you can, the thing with nuts is you can start whacking up the calories. And the whole thing with the keto thing, I mean, it's great. You can pretty much eat anything that's, you know, high in fat but low in carbs. But again, if you start overdoing it on the calories, you can start to not necessarily put too much weight on, but you certainly won't lose weight. For me, my goal at the moment is to lose at least another stone or more. So I've got to be a little bit careful on the amount of calories, and you can, like I say, you can really ramp the calories up with things like nuts and, well, fats in general as well. But particularly nuts, they seem to be really high in the calories. Right, so grated mozzarella, we've covered that. Little gem lettuce, more salad. Avocado, always brilliant. Avocados are, again, another staple. They're a fatty, high-fat vegetable, but ultra low in carbs. So you can do really well with those. And I'll always have avocado chopped up on salad. Lemons are always good. I sort of put those, I can make like a dressing with lemon. I sometimes put lemon juice on my salad. Sometimes you can mix it in with things like olive oil. But to be honest, I don't do a lot of liquid oils, but I can make up. Look, this one's olive oil flavoured with garlic. You mix that in with a bit of lemon juice, crack on a bit of pepper, and you've got yourself a salad dressing, which is quite nice. Right, aerosol cream. I buy this more for convenience. Cream is good. Obviously, cream is high fat, and I put cream on a lot of things. I also use cream to make things like scrambled egg. I think there's some cream in some of the little cakes I make as well, and I need cream for like the chocolate nash on the cakes that I make, which are not a lot. It's not that often. Maybe once or twice a week I might make a little cake in a ramekin bowl. But yeah, I like the aerosol cream basically because it keeps for a long time, and so it's just more of a convenience. Also, if I have a bulletproof coffee, I put it on that as well. It's really, really handy. Unsmoked bacon, dried cured unsmoked bacon. Again, I think I did bacon earlier. That's mostly for breakfast. Celery is always good. Celery goes in most things. You can have it in salad. If you do, say, for example, a crock pot meal where you have like some sort of meat, maybe like chicken, and a little bit of marinade, you whack in some celery. That just makes it really yummy as well. Now, I'm not going to be doing the crock pot meals this time round, but I know generally in the winter what I'll do is buy a bit of meat, and I'll actually buy an actual bottle of marinade. Now the actual carbohydrate content on these are quite high. Let's have a look. 100 grams is 6 grams, so that's 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, but there's about 16 grams of carbs on here. But the thing is, if you put a bunch of meat in a crock pot, pour the whole bottle over, you've got about maybe six meals there. So obviously this amount divided by 6 meals is going to be much lower level of carbohydrates. I'm not going to work out the maths here because I'm just a bit rubbish at maths, but sort of spread over a number of meals, that's not a problem. So that's my thinking behind that, and it served me really well doing it that way. Baby plum tomatoes. I like the baby plum tomatoes because if you buy the big tomatoes, they don't keep. If you cut, if you like have half of one, the other half is not going to keep very well. But if they're just little baby plum tomatoes, then you can have 1 or 2, and you're not overdoing it on the sugars. Sainsbury's tomato ketchup, organic. So again, something you've got to be really careful with, but I just do like a little half a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon. Got to watch the sugars in those, but some meals I just can't have without tomato ketchup, like for example the fathead sausage rolls. Those things with a little bit of ketchup on, oh, they are to die for. They're just so nice. But without the ketchup, really nice, but not quite as much. Not as nice. We also got fair trade, extra virgin, organic, raw coconut oil. Probably the most expensive thing on the list. I've got half a litre, and that's £7, that's £7 British, which is really expensive, but it's high quality stuff. Now, this is about high quality fats. What I will do with that coconut oil is make something called fat bombs, and these for me are a bit of a key to losing weight. Basically, fat bombs is you get things like organic coconut oil, a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of regular butter, all melted together, and then you pour them into like ice cube trays and stick them in the fridge, and they form as little chocolates. You need to put sweetener in it as well. I think there was a couple of other ingredients, I'm not sure. I'll probably do a video on making fat bombs if I haven't already. I can't remember if I have or not. But yeah, these fat bombs, what I tend to do is just, if I open the fridge and I just sort of want to pick at something or whatever, I just grab a fat bomb or two. They're really satiating, they really fill you up, but also they're really high quality fats. And what I found while I was doing the ketogenic lifestyle last time was if I chipped away at fat bombs, probably having no more than about, I don't know, 5 or 6 through the day, I would lose more weight when I did that than when I didn't have fat bombs and when I left them alone. So that was really that was a good education. So I will always have a big plate full of fat bombs available in the fridge. You have to keep them in the fridge because if you put them out, they look like chocolates, but they'll start to melt in like room temperature. Lastly on that list is dairy cream, and I use thick cream. I use that in a lot of things. It's lovely for making scrambled eggs. I use it in some of the cake ingredients, for making the ganache, and a few other things. But I have it on jelly as well. That's really nice. Sometimes I have it in the coffee, the bulletproof coffee in the mornings, and some other things that I can't think of at the moment, but no doubt I will as soon as I've turned this camera off. So there we go. Those are on my shopping list, and basically over the course of the next probably 2 or 3 days, I will be slowly making the transition. So I'll be eating less and less carb containing ingredients and going over to more and more fat containing ingredients. And then probably in about 2, maybe 3 days time, I will basically have a cut-off day where I will no longer consume carbohydrate foods of any kind, and then I will literally just limit myself to the 20 grams of carbohydrates per day. And then over the course of the following 2 weeks, my body will adapt until such a time as I become fully keto adapted. And you can tell whether you're keto adapted by these little strips that you wee on called keto sticks. And that will tell you as soon as you start going into ketosis, it will actually show up on a little indicator, and then you know. And then hopefully I'm going to stay in keto probably for the rest of time, or for the rest of my life, because I know it works for me. Like I say, every now and again I might step back for a month, just have a month off, and then go back to it for another 6, 7, 8, 9 months. It worked really well for me last time round, and I'm hoping to do that this time round. So there we go, that's it for this video. If you want to know any more about keto, the keto lifestyle, if you want me to do anything in particular, do let me know, and I will endeavour to make more videos on it. But that's it for this video, so I hope it was useful. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.